Hi everyone, I'm Alt from Susan's family. In this video, we'll learn how to crochet this bunny pack bag. It consists of the main body, flap, and accessories. Let's start with crocheting the main body. The main body is crocheted in rounds counterclockwise on the bag base included in the kit. The stitch techniques used include single crochet, 4HDC bobble stitch, chain stitch, and slip stitch. Now let's begin crocheting. For easier watching, I'll demonstrate with thick cotton yarn here. Colors are random. Check the product's detail page and paper instructions for specific yarn color schemes and hook sizes. First, let me show how to hold the hook and yarn. Start by making a slip knot like this. Next, open your left hand palm. Wrap the yarn around your pinky from inside out, then thread it between your index and middle fingers. Next, pinch the yarn loop with your left thumb and middle finger. Pick up the crochet hook with your right hand. The hook moves between these 2 points. Now take out the bag base included in the kit. Note that the side with rivets faces toward you. Before crocheting, locate the 4 corner positions on the bag base. To make it easier for you to watch, I've marked them in advance with waste yarn. Here you can see the interval between corner positions on the short sides is 5 holes. The interval between corner positions on the long sides is 14 holes. After locating these 4 corners, count left from the top right corner position, and insert the hook into the 3rd hole. Adjust this yarn loop. Pay attention that the height of this loop should be slightly above the bag base edge. We'll weave in the tail yarn as we crochet along. Next, position the hook to the left of the yarn, wrap the yarn counterclockwise, and pull through. This completes a chain stitch. The chain stitch doesn't count as a stitch. Next, work a single crochet into this hole. Insert the hook into the hole. The hook is on the right side of the yarn. You can press the yarn down like this and pull through. After pulling through, there are 2 loops on the hook. Next, position the hook to the left side of the yarn. Wrap the yarn counterclockwise and pull through. After pulling through, the V shape above is the stitch of a single crochet. Next, insert the hook into the next hole to begin crocheting. In the next hole, work 2 single crochets. Insert the hook into the next hole. Press the yarn and pull through. Next, wrap the yarn counterclockwise. If it's difficult to handle the base, you can slightly use your thumb to assist. Pull the yarn through, and this completes a single crochet. Next, insert the hook into the same hole again. Press the yarn. Pull through. Wrap the yarn counterclockwise. Pull through. This way, 2 single crochets are worked into the second hole, also called a single crochet increase. Next, in the third hole, work a single crochet increase, which means making 2 single crochets. After completing the third hole, work a single crochet in the next hole. As you can see, there's 1 single crochet between the 2 increases. Continue crocheting. In the next hole, work a single crochet increase. After completing that, work another single crochet increase in the following hole. Here, we've been weaving in the starting yarn tail as we work. Once hidden, you can cut off the excess yarn. Continue on, work a single crochet in the next hole. Now you see 2 increases again, separated by single crochets. Follow this pattern of 2 increases with single crochets in between. Refer to the chart and repeat this sequence until you reach the hole before the next corner position. When you get to this corner position, work 3 single crochets in the hole at the corner. After completing the hole at the corner position, continue to the 5 holes along the short side, starting with a single crochet increase in the first hole. Work a single crochet increase in the second hole. Work a single crochet in the third hole position. Work a single crochet increase in the fourth hole position. Work a single crochet increase in the fifth hole position as well. This completes the 5 holes along the short side. The next hole is the corner position, same as the previous one, work 3 single crochets. After completing the 3 single crochets at the corner position, move on to the long side. The method for this long side is similar to the one we just did. For the 2 holes near the corner position, work 2 single crochet increases, then 1 single crochet in between, followed by 2 more single crochet increases with 1 single crochet in between. Follow this pattern according to the chart. Repeat this sequence until you reach the next corner position, which is the same as the previous corners, work 3 single crochets. The crocheting pattern for this short side is identical to the one we did earlier. Continue crocheting according to the chart until you reach the last hole. No further detailed explanation here. After completing the last hole, slip stitch into the stitch of the first single crochet. This is the beginning chain, here is the single crochet, and the V shape at the top right of the single crochet is the stitch. Beginners who have trouble identifying can place a stitch marker after completing the first single crochet. Then directly insert into the first stitch, yarn over, pull through all loops on the hook, and tighten. This completes the first round. Now proceed to the second round. Yarn over and pull through the yarn, make one chain as the turning chain, this chain does not count as a stitch, then insert into the first stitch, which is the same stitch, where we slip stitched, and work a single crochet. After completing the single crochet, the V shape above is the stitch of the single crochet. Beginners can mark this single crochet with a stitch marker while crocheting. At the end of the round, we will slip stitch into this marked stitch. Continue inserting into the next single crochet stitch, working single crochets without increasing or decreasing, matching each stitch as you go around. After completing the last single crochet, slip stitch into the first single crochet stitch, which is marked by the stitch marker. Slip stitch and pull tight. This completes the second round. Now we'll work the third round. The first stitch of the third round consists of 2 half double crochet bobbles with a chain space between them. Let's demonstrate. First, make 2 chains as the turning chain. These 2 chains don't count as a stitch. This applies to the turning chains in all subsequent rounds. Slightly enlarge the loop, yarn over, and use your right middle finger to gently pinch the loop for assistance. The hook is on the left side of the yarn. Wrap the yarn counterclockwise. Insert into the first stitch. Yarn over and pull through. The length of the pulled loop matches the turning chain length, completing one incomplete half double crochet. Second incomplete half double crochet. Third incomplete half double crochet. Fourth incomplete half double crochet. After completing 4 incomplete half double crochets, yarn over counterclockwise and pull through all loops on the hook to complete a 4 half double crochet bobble stitch, simply called bobble stitch from now on. Next, make a chain space, yarn over, and insert into the same stitch to work another bobble stitch. The V shape above the first bobble stitch counts as the stitch for this bobble. Beginners can mark this spot with a stitch marker. After completing the round, insert the hook here to join with a slip stitch. After completing the first pattern, the second pattern skips 2 stitches and works into the next stitch. Let's demonstrate. Yarn over, skip 2 stitches, insert into the next stitch. First, work a bobble stitch. Next, make a chain space, yarn over, and insert into the same stitch to work another bobble stitch. This completes the second pattern. Count down from the completed stitch, skip 2 stitches, leave unworked, and insert into the next stitch to continue working this pattern set. Let's work it again. Skip 2 stitches, insert into the next stitch, first work a bobble stitch. Next, make a chain space, yarn over, and insert into the same stitch to work a bobble stitch. This completes the third pattern set. Following this, we'll continue repeating the pattern with 2 stitches skipped between each pattern until completing the round. After finishing the last pattern, slip stitch into the first stitch, where our stitch marker is placed. Slip stitch and pull tight. This completes the third round. Now we'll begin the fourth round. When working the fourth round, leave the yarn loop slightly longer on the hook. Insert into the chain space. Slip stitch. Bring the yarn to this chain space. We don't need to pull this slip stitch tight. Immediately work 2 beginning chains. Keep the yarn loop slightly longer, then insert into the chain space between patterns from the previous round, and work a bobble stitch. Make 1 chain space, then insert into the same chain space, again to work another bobble stitch. This completes 1 pattern. The next pattern is worked into the chain space between patterns from the previous round. Make 1 chain space, then work another bobble stitch in the same position. This completes the second pattern. For all subsequent patterns, simply work into the chain space between each pattern group from the previous round. After completing the last pattern, slip stitch into the first stitch. We didn't mark this stitch with a marker, so let's identify it. These are the 2 chain stitches. The braid directly above our bobble stitch is actually the first stitch of our pattern. Don't confuse this position. If you can't identify it, mark it with a stitch marker like we did in the previous round. Once the slip stitch is completed, the fourth round is finished. Rounds 5 through 18 follow the same crocheting method as round 4. Just refer to the chart and repeat the pattern until round 18. After completing round 18, the bag body section is finished crocheting. Do not cut the yarn after completing the bag body section. Next, work on the flap section using back and forth crocheting method, then switch to fluffy honey yarn for edging. The new stitch techniques used include half double crochets and 2 half double crochet bobbles. Let's begin crocheting now. First, determine the flap crocheting position. Starting from the first bobble stitch, where we ended with a slip stitch in the previous round, count 1, 2, 3, 4, and insert the hook into the fourth stitch to begin. Next, count the patterns below. Count from right to left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. End at the bobble stitch position to the left of the sixth pattern. Place a stitch marker here as a mark. The stitch marker indicates the flap crocheting position. Next, we'll demonstrate. Enlarge the loop on the hook, then slip stitch into corresponding stitches, bringing the yarn to the stitch marked by the stitch marker. Slip stitches don't need to be tight. Total of 3 slip stitches completed. After finishing the slip stitches, begin working on the first row. Chain 2 as the turning chain, counts as 1 half double crochet, then yarn over, and insert the hook into the chain space of this stitch group. Work a pattern of bobble stitch, chain 1, bobble stitch. After completing, continue to the next chain space, and work another pattern. After completion, we'll continue crocheting into each chain space until reaching the chain space before the stitch marker. After completing the last pattern, insert the hook into the stitch marked by the stitch marker, and work a half double crochet, yarn over. Insert into the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over again with 3 loops on the hook, and pull through all 3 loops at once to complete the half double crochet. Once the half double crochet is done, the first row is complete. Proceed to work the second row. Chain 2 as the turning chain, counts as 1 half double crochet. Turn the work piece. Yarn over and work patterns into the middle chain spaces of the previous row's motifs, repeating until reaching this chain space. After completing the last pattern, yarn over. Insert the hook into this chain space, and work a half double crochet. Once the half double crochet is done, the second row is complete. Proceed to work the third row, chain 2 as the turning chain. The 2 chains here also count as 1 half double crochet. For all subsequent rows in the flap section, the 2 turning chains will count as 1 stitch without further reminders. Next, work 1 chain space, and turn the work piece. Yarn over, insert the hook into the first stitch, this stitch, and work a half double crochet. After completing the half double crochet, continue working patterns into the corresponding motif positions as in the previous row, repeating between each motif until reaching the last chain space. After finishing the last pattern, proceed to the second chain of the beginning chain. This is the first chain. Insert the hook under both the front loop and back loop of the second chain's V-shaped loop on the wrong side to work the stitch. First, work 1 half double crochet, 1 chain space, yarn over again, and work another half double crochet in the same position. Once completed, the third row is done. Proceed to work the fourth row. Chain 2 as the turning chain, then work 1 chain space, and turn the work piece. Yarn over. Insert the hook into this chain space, the space between 2 half double crochets. Work a 2 DC bobble stitch by first making 2 incomplete half double crochets. Yarn over and pull through all loops at once to complete the 2 DC bobble stitch. After completing, yarn over and insert the hook into the next motif's chain space, continuing to work patterns in corresponding positions until reaching this chain space. Once the pattern is completed, insert the hook into the last chain space to work a 2 DC incomplete bobble stitch. Then work 1 chain. Insert the hook under both the front loop and back loop of the second chain's V-shaped loop on the wrong side to work a half double crochet. This completes the fourth row. Proceed to work the fifth row. Chain 2 as the beginning chain, then work 1 chain space, turn the work piece, yarn over, and insert the hook into this chain space to work a 4 DC incomplete bobble stitch. After completing, continue working patterns into the corresponding motif positions from the previous row, working stitches in chain spaces until reaching this position. After completing the pattern, insert the hook into the last chain space to work a 4 DC bobble stitch. Yarn over and pull through all loops at once, work 1 chain space, then insert the hook into the second chain position of the beginning chain to work a half double crochet. After completing the half double crochet, the fifth row is finished. Proceed to work the sixth row, which follows the same pattern as the fifth row. Simply repeat the chart instructions accordingly. After completing the sixth row, proceed to work the seventh row. Chain 2 as the beginning chain, turn the work piece, yarn over, insert the hook into the chain space to work a 2 DC bobble stitch, then yarn over and continue working patterns into the corresponding chain spaces of the next motifs, until reaching the last motif's chain space. After completing the pattern, insert the hook into the remaining chain space to work a 2 DC bobble stitch. Work 1 chain space. Then insert the hook into the second chain position of the starting chain to work a half double crochet. Once completed, the seventh row is finished. Proceed to work the eighth row. Chain 2 to begin, turn. Yarn over. Work patterns sequentially into the middle chain spaces of the next motifs, repeating until the last motif's chain space. After completing the pattern, yarn over and insert the hook into the second chain position of the beginning chain to work a half double crochet. After completing the half double crochet, work 1 chain stitch, fasten off the yarn by leaving a tail for sewing. Weave in the yarn tail to the wrong side of the fabric and trim excess yarn. Now add edging to the flap section using the fluffy honey yarn from the kit since it has longer fibers. For demonstration clarity, I'll use thicker cotton yarn instead as fluffy yarn makes stitch visibility difficult. Once you've learned the technique, use the kit's specified yarn for actual crocheting. The insertion point for edging is at the bobble stitch position. Bring the yarn over. Work one chain stitch as beginning chain, then work a single crochet into the 2 chain space of the first row's turning chain. While crocheting, hide the starting tail as you work. Next, insert the hook into the half double crochet post of the second row to work 2 single crochets. For the next 2 chain turning chain, work 1 single crochet. Continue by inserting into the 4th row's half double crochet post to work 2 single crochets, then work 1 single crochet in the 5th row, and 2 single crochets into the 6th row's half double crochet post. Work 1 single crochet into the 2 chain turning chain of the 7th row. Work 2 single crochets into the 8th row's half double crochet post. After completing these 2 single crochets, the edge on this side is finished. Next, insert the hook into the stitch of the half double crochet to work 1 single crochet. Insert into the chain space of this pattern, repeat to work 1 single crochet. Insert into the stitch of bobble to work 1 single crochet. Next, insert into the middle chain space of the next pattern, repeat to work 1 single crochet. Continue by inserting into the bobble stitch to work 1 single crochet. The stitch pattern for this row is identical to the previous one. Work single crochets into each pattern's chain space, and the bobble stitch on the left side, continuing until reaching the corner. When working the last pattern, repeat. First insert into the second chain stitch position of the beginning chain to work 1 single crochet. Next, insert into the post, which is this chain space, to work 2 single crochets. The remaining edge follows the same pattern as this side. Refer to the chart and complete crocheting accordingly. After completing this last single crochet, immediately work a slip stitch into the same position, the bobble stitch where we worked the half double crochet. Don't tighten this slip stitch, simply cut the yarn, leaving a tail for sewing. This yarn tail is convenient for weaving in ends. Next, thread the yarn through the stitch where we inserted the hook. Then, weave in the ends by picking up the back loops of the edging stitches. After weaving in, cut the yarn. This completes the demonstration of crocheting the edging. Next, crochet the decorations, which include ears, pom-poms, and drawstrings. First, crochet the ears, then sew them onto the flap after completion. Next, crochet the pom-poms. After completing the pom-poms, crochet the drawstrings. Once all decorations are finished, assemble them, and sew on the straps. Now, let's begin crocheting. First, crochet the ears. Hold the yarn with your left hand, open your palm, wrap once around the pinky, pass between the index and middle fingers, and wrap twice around the middle finger. Next, pinch the crossing point with your left thumb, pick up the crochet hook with your right hand, insert into the 2 loops on the middle finger, and pull through the yarn. After pulling through, the magic ring is completed. Next, work the first round. Yarn over and make a chain stitch as the beginning chain. After completing the beginning chain, remove the loops from the middle finger. Hold the loops with your thumb and middle finger, then insert into the ring and work 6 single crochets in sequence. After completing 6 single crochets, proceed to tighten the ring. First, pull the starting yarn tail to see a smaller loop forming. Then, pull this smaller loop to tighten the other loop, and finally pull the starting yarn tail again. After tightening the ring, make a slip stitch into the first stitch. This completes the first round. Next, work the second round, make a chain stitch as the beginning chain, insert the hook into the first stitch, work a single crochet increase, 2 single crochets, in the same stitch, and repeat around. After completing the last single crochet increase, join with a slip stitch into the first stitch. After completing the slip stitch, the second round is finished. Next, work the third round, make a chain stitch as the beginning chain, insert the hook into the first stitch, work even single crochets corresponding to each stitch, and repeat this pattern up to the 6th round. After completing the 6th round, proceed to work the 7th round. First, make a chain stitch as the beginning chain, insert the hook into the first stitch, work 2 single crochets corresponding to each stitch, then work a single crochet decrease on the 3rd and 4th stitches. First, insert into the 3rd stitch, and work an incomplete single crochet, then insert into the 4th stitch, and work another incomplete single crochet. After completing 2 incomplete single crochets, there will be 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops at once to complete a single crochet decrease. Following this, continue working 4 single crochets, and 1 single crochet decrease corresponding to each stitch. Then work 2 more single crochets. After completion, join with a slip stitch into the first single crochet stitch. Tighten after joining, then make a chain stitch, leave a tail of about 30 centimeters for sewing, and fasten off the yarn. Thread a sewing needle, and press the crochet flat. First, sew the opening by picking up the front loops only. After sewing, don't cut the reserved yarn tail, leave it here for later use. Next, use the fluffy honey yarn from the kit to work the edging, which consists of 2 rounds. Since this yarn is hard to demonstrate clearly, I'll use thick cotton yarn for demonstration. Once you learn the method, use the yarn provided in the kit. When working the edging, insert the hook at the upper right corner position. Pull the yarn through. While crocheting, weave in the working yarn as you go. Make a chain stitch to begin, then insert into the same spot again to work a single crochet. Insert into the next spot, always picking up the gaps between stitches. Two single crochets, then continue inserting into the gaps. 3 single crochets. 4 single crochets. 5 single crochets. 6 single crochets. Next is the corner position. Here we work a single crochet increase, meaning 2 single crochets in this spot, and similarly work a single crochet increase on the other side. Then continue matching the gaps of each round to work 6 single crochets, repeating all the way down. After completing these 6 single crochets, the first round is done. Next, work the second round, make a chain stitch, turn. Insert the hook into the first stitch, then work 5 single crochets corresponding to each stitch. After completing 5 single crochets, work a half double crochet into the next stitch, then continue inserting into the following stitch to work a half double crochet increase. Meaning 2 half double crochets in this spot. Repeat 4 times. After completing 4 half double crochet increases, work 1 half double crochet into the next stitch, then continue working single crochets corresponding to each stitch. After finishing the single crochets, make a chain stitch, cut the yarn, leaving a slightly longer tail for easier weaving in. Weave in the yarn tail, and trim the excess thread. This completes the 2 round edging for the ear. Follow the same method to crochet 2 ears. Next, sew the ears onto the bag, positioning them centered. The sewing position is on the first row of the bag flap crocheting. Insert the needle into the gap of the 18th round of the main part for sewing. Continue sewing the ear using the same method until completed. After finishing the ears, proceed to crochet the pom-pom and drawstring. The crocheting method for the pom-pom is similar to the ear. Start with a magic ring, work 6 single crochets, repeat for 3 rounds, and leave a sewing tail when finished. Sew the opening by picking up the front loop sequentially. Finally, weave the yarn into the fabric and trim the excess thread. After completing the pom-pom, brush it with the pet brush included in the kit for this fluffy effect. Once the pom-pom is done, proceed to crochet the drawstring. The drawstring is crocheted using the main parts yarn. Use the yarn over chain stitch method, with a length of 70 centimeters. Reserve approximately 3 meters of yarn in advance. Hold the yarn with your left hand. Wrap the yarn clockwise around the hook. Pull through. Adjust the loop. Yarn over. Yarn over and pull through to complete a yarn over chain stitch. Continue with yarn over. Yarn over and pull through. Repeat this method for the remaining stitches. Repeat until reaching 70 centimeters. After reaching 70 centimeters, pull the reserved yarn through the loop on the hook. Pull tight. Cut the yarn. Do not cut this excess yarn as it will be used for sewing. Next, attach the hanging loop to the bag. Starting from the 18th round at the connection between the bag and the flap, locate the middle two motifs. There are 6 groups of motifs in total. Find the middle 2 groups and thread through them, from inside to outside. After threading the middle yarn, proceed to the right side by skipping 2 motifs and threading in. Then skip 2 motifs and thread out. Next, skip 3 motifs and thread in through this hole. Then skip 2 motifs and thread out. Once the right side is threaded, proceed to the left side. Thread in through 2 motifs. Thread out through 2 motifs. Next, thread in through 3 motifs. Thread out through 2 motifs. After threading, there are 6 motif positions remaining. Make sure not to thread incorrectly. Sew the tassel onto the end of the drawstring. For the other tassel, use the yarn left from finishing to sew it on, then secure with a double knot, and hide it within the fabric. Complete this sewing on your own. Once both tassels are sewn on, proceed to attach the magnetic snap. The sewing position for the magnetic snap, on the flap, it's in the middle of the 6 motifs in the last row. On the bag body, count down 5 rows from the middle line of the 6 motifs reserved for the drawstring, and sew between the 5th and 6th rows. This sewing method is simple. Use the sewing thread and needle provided in the kit to sew it. No further details will be given here. Complete this sewing on your own. Next, sew on the backpack straps. The sewing position for the straps is on the wrong side. First locate the 6 motifs at the strap connection point, and sew in the centered position of these 6 motifs. When sewing, use the sewing needle and thread provided in the kit, and tie a simple knot at the end like this. When sewing, first secure the thread at any nearby position. After completing one round of sewing, tie a knot to secure it on the wrong side. This completes the upper part of the backpack straps. Next, secure the bottom part. The sewing position below the strap is at the middle 4 groups of motifs. On the right side, it's between this group and that group of motifs, positioned below. Sew at this spot. The left side is sewn at the position below this group and that group of motifs. The middle is separated by 4 groups of motifs. When sewing, first locate the position and secure it with your left hand. Then secure the thread and proceed with sewing. The sewing method is the same as before, so no further demonstration is needed here. This is what it looks like after sewing is completed. Trim the excess strap like this. Once the strap is sewn on, this bag is completely crocheted. If you have any unclear parts during the crocheting process, please contact our customer service. Susan's family, supporting your handwork experience, sharing the joy of life. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.